Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you are seeing this, I would like to offer the Elemental Energy bonus reading for the Elemental Energy of Water for June of 2025. Water covers the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, so all of my little fishies out there, this is for you. If you're interested in which cards index I'm using, those are linked in the description. And then there's also a link if you've never had your charts read, which I think is a really fun way to kind of get a little more insight into yourself, some of your motivations. And when you ask those questions, why is this happening to me? You might be surprised what's in a reading. I'm really not great with astrology, and that's why I use this particular chart, because it gives you a lot of the information. It's a very baseline birth chart. It gives you your 12 houses and all the information that goes along with them. So it's a really cool tool to have for that respect. And then it gives you a section in there on your elemental alignment, which I've always resonated more with elements, which is why I read for the elements instead of the zodiac. But when I was reading through my chart when I first got it, the elements were actually more accurate than, in my opinion at that time, than the rest of the entire report. And it was literally like 2 paragraphs, but it was a bit more accurate. And like my elemental alignment is water, massively dominant. The next one down, which is like 8 points or something like that, is all it's on it, is air. I have no fire and almost no water, or no earth. So I have an interesting alignment as far as that goes. But it's kind of fun to read through. Like I said, it's just an interesting way to look at things. So with that, we'll hop into the reading. And for the bonus readings, we just do a simple Celtic cross, because it, in my opinion, gives you a good overview of what energy is occurring now and what are the outside influences. So, water, we are starting off with, this is your significator, this is who you are in this moment. It is number 14, it's the Temperance card. This is saying, water, you are seeking balance. You are looking for ways to find some stability and not have things moving around, which is interesting. Water is a little bit more mobile than the other elements, but in this particular instance, it's almost like enough is enough. I need a break. Let's get some things set down and stabilized. So it's definitely worth looking into how that's going to play out for you. Also, something that I'm kind of curious to see what other people think of. As you're watching the video, if you get a different intuitive burst or insight from any of the cards that we're talking about, feel free, if you're comfortable, drop your thoughts and opinions on each of the cards in the descriptions down below. I read intuitively. I've studied through the literal interpretations. Doesn't always read right for me, but my intuition tends to be a little more accurate as far as that goes. So I'm curious to hear what other people's thoughts are. So the thing that's crossing you is the Death card. This is saying, water, there are some things that you have got to let go of. There's some things that are in the way. This is not a time, as this is a challenge for you, these are things that you're not sure if you really want to let go of. You're not sure if this is something that you're comfortable with doing. But this card is saying it's not really something to debate. Do you want to go forward? Do you want to find that more balanced state from the Temperance card? Or are you willing to continue to kind of go to war about this? And the Death card is saying it is time to put that to bed. It is time to cut whatever's not working out of your life. And this is something that you're going to have to meditate on a little bit, because it is a challenge. It's not going to be, not for some people, it's not going to be the easiest thing. Some people are going to pop up with the first thing, be like, oh, that has to go? Oh, great. But other people are going to be like, well, I'm not sure what's wrong because I have all of this going on. There's so many moving parts. And that's where you have to find that balance, that temperance. So water, we're starting off with some very interesting energies going on here. And you have 2 major arcanas to start things off. We haven't even gotten into 3rd card yet. And when we look at that perspective, these are big life-altering events that are going on for you. You are seeking a new balance, which is great. Everyone, that's a huge goal. But you have a unique challenge in that there is some something that you have found to be valuable in the past that needs to be taken out because it's no longer serving you, and it's actually feeling like there's going to be a hindrance if you try to hold on to it for too much longer. So it's definitely a time of rethinking some things, checking out some strategies. Is it time to step away from the job and start your own? Is it time to maybe take that promotion? Is it time to maybe move out of that apartment into a house, or a house into apartment, however that looks? But there's a lot of things that are going to be coming in as big changes, and that's why you're seeking temperance. That's what your goal is. But there's a challenge in the way that is pretty hefty. So your higher self energy is the Six of Swords. This is the energy of you fought some battles, and now you're kind of stepping away from having to deal with that. Your higher self is saying you have others who are observing you, who you are teaching, and you're trying to show them a better way to deal with conflict. And sometimes it's a good idea to get a higher perspective so that you can see what's really going on. Is that conflict really, does it really involve you, or is it something that someone's trying to drag you into? Does that conflict really actually make a difference in life, or is this something that's something get wrapped up in for the moment? Your higher self is saying they keep bouncing between images. You're either guiding someone, or someone is really closely observing you in how you're responding to the situation. And that's where how you act right now, your higher self is saying, act with the most ethics and morals that you can, because others are in a process of learning from you, whether directly or indirectly. So your shadow, that which you've been pushing back, you've said you're not good enough, so you push it into the shadow. Your shadow holds an amazing array of tools and gems. That's why when we look at it from this perspective, it's what's being brought forward that you could use in this moment. And that is the Knight of Wands. Don't be afraid to chase your passions, to fight for what you believe in. The Knight is someone who fights with morals and ethics. There's always a little bit of a battle that goes along with being a knight. Sometimes it's an external one or an internal. But water, this one being of wands, this is fire energy. This is something that it's kind of your enemy in that respect. But what it's saying is, water, you have a depth of passion. You have a depth of feeling that you have chosen to put back. Oh, you're just too intense. Oh, shove it into the shadow. You just don't know what you're talking about. I can't believe you would even say that. Back into the shadow. The Knight of Wands is saying those passions, those drives, those things that you have held at some point in your life, and you might still, you just keep it secret, that are so true to you and so powerful that you want to bring it forward. Oh, you'll never succeed at painting. What are you doing? Okay, well, that's that person's opinion. Art is in the eye of the beholder. And so that's where you have this passion that is coming forward, and it's something that you may have to use in a fight situation where it's like, you know what, I don't care what you say about my art. I'm still going to do this show. So what if you don't sell a single piece? You're getting exposure at that point. And so there's this little bit of a push and pull going on here, and it's saying to do so with morals and ethics. The knights had a code of honor, chivalry, whatever, and there's some people that say that didn't exist, but we'll go through the romanticized version. It did. And and what it was they stood up for what was right no matter what anyone else thought. And that's what the Knight of Wands is calling you to do. Stand up for what's right. Follow those passions and those drives. As long as you're not, and this is a key thing, as long as you're not harming someone else, do you. And that's what the Knight of Wands is wanting to bring forward, is to follow those passions and be willing to defend them if necessary. So your immediate history is actually tapping into your energy. It's the Seven of Cups. Water, have we been a little dreamy here lately, the last 30 days, 6 months, or a year? Has there been some, in the recent history, has there been a time where instead of making action, it's been daydreams? It's been staring at that vision board you have above your desk and one day, or has it been like daydreams where you're at work and your brain wanders off because the work is really not that enthralling? Whatever it is that's been going on in the past, they're saying, the illusion and the daydreams are kind of coming to an end. It's now getting into that time of action. And when your challenge is the Death card, it's saying this could be what's coming up. There are things that need to come to an end because you are getting ready for some movement. And let's see what your movement is in the near future, next 30 days, 6 months, or a year. The Ace of Swords. There's a new beginning coming in for you, water, and this is working with air energy. And with swords, we're also dealing with some intellect. That air is intellect and knowledge and communication. So this is something that you're starting off with that you may feel a little bit awkward about. You're not sure how to present it. You're not sure how to describe what it is that you do. And what they're saying is that's fine. Water, this is a great opportunity for you because you've thought about it, you've dreamt about it, you've put those images into the ether to be manifested. But now it's time to stop the dreamy aspect and let's start doing those next steps. And that's what the Ace of Swords is saying is you're starting off brand spanking new. You're not the fool because you actually do have some knowledge here. And now it's time to put that knowledge into action. So your internal attitude, where your thought process is in the moment, is the Three of Pentacles. This always comes across to me as an artistic endeavor, something that you've been working on, possibly in secret, but it's time to reap the rewards of that secret work. It's time to put yourself out there, and in your inner world, you know you've been doing this stuff. I mean, you've been working with your passions that's been drawing up, and you know that you have these skills and abilities, and this is all inside, and now you're starting to figure out, well, how do I get paid for this? How do I get rewarded for the things that I'm doing? How do I expand from what has been to the better future that I've been dreaming about? And what we're hearing with this Three of Pentacles is these are the things going through your head right now, water, and it's how do I put this out there? How do I take those next steps? And that's where the Ace of Swords, paying attention to your intuition, watching the signs, maybe research some people who've done something similar. That way you might get that aha moment to be like, oh, that's what I need to do. But there's definitely this movement towards something new or something better. I'm hearing primarily this has to do with like work and home. It could be about relationships, so take however it works for you. But there's this, things are shifting and it's time for a new beginning for you. So the outside world is the Page of Cups. This is an apprentice energy. So there's someone who's observing, but they don't really actually know what they're doing. There's this illusion going on outside of you. There's wisdom and beauty surrounding you as well, but there's also this illusion of someone who's they're watching and they're like, well, should they do this? Or well, what are they doing? But the outside environment, the things that are around you, everything's looking really well, but there's some distractions that are being brought up. That's where the little dragon's getting distracted by his own image, the illusions, but what you seek is over here. What you seek is actually still in that beauty, and that's the part that they're calling you to is don't get distracted by the reflections, by the illusions of what's going on around you. Keep your focus on the things that are important. There's great beauty and abundance outside of the bubble of your immediate history of all the dreams. This is saying, this is what's going on around you. Stop doing this, start doing this. But don't get distracted by the shiny objects. You're looking for a specific goal, so keep moving towards that. So your hopes and fears. We have the Nine of Pentacles. And this is an interesting one because the fear is you almost want to hoard everything because you're not sure how other people are going to take it. The dragon here has a little bit of a defensive posture to the birds because this is the hoard. But is that necessary? And that's that fear is, well, if I don't show anybody, if I don't tell anybody, then I can't get hurt. You're going to get hurt one way or another as far as that goes. You're going to have people who absolutely love what you do. There's other people who are going to be like, no, that is disgusting. Stop it. And that's fine because you're not for everybody. I'm not for everybody. You're not for everybody. No one's for everybody. We find our tribe. We find those who resonate with us and we work from there. And that's what this is saying is, yeah, these guys might be, flight as well, but they're not a dragon. So you're not selling your products. You're not advertising yourself to the birds. You're advertising it to the other dragons. And that's what the hopes and fears are saying is the fear is, what about rejection? But the hope is, why do you care? Because you're not selling your stuff, you're not offering your talents, your skills to the people who aren't on the same wavelength as you. They keep saying lesser, and I'm like, that's rude. But they are in one aspect. They're not where you're at. You might be lesser than them in some ways. They're lesser than you in others. So you're not selling to those people. Those people have opinions, but they don't really apply because they're not paying attention to what you're doing. So, like, if you're looking for that promotion, everyone's like, oh, they're just doing it for the money. Actually, you're doing it because you want to expand. You want to grow your own skills. The money's a bonus. That's extra. Or it could be you're starting your own business. Why? Because you feel you have something to offer. You have in your shadow the Knight of Wands coming forward. There is a passion. You are willing to fight for this now. And other people are like, I can't believe they're going to open that dog food business. Just because you're okay with your 9 to 5 doesn't mean that other people don't want to try something different. And that's where your water energy is saying, don't worry about them. Your hope is that you're going to succeed, but the hope also is that you're shooting for the right tribe. So make sure you're focused on the correct group you're selling to. Don't sell like dog food to people who like cats. Doesn't usually work out so well. So your overall outcome for the reading, you have a lot of pentacle energy, and that's why I say this has to do with business and home. A little bit of relationship, but that's not the primary focus here. But your outcome is the Page of Pentacles. This is saying that you are really close to one success. You may need some guidance to move beyond that. The page in some ways can be seen as an apprentice or an intern, where you know that you're getting to where you need to be. Do you know it all yet? No. But are you willing to learn it? Yes. You are gaining access to one success. But notice there's way more out here that you have options to go towards. And that's where you're at right now. Your outcome is saying, stay focused on what is important, what is driving your passions, what is keeping you going towards the future, and allow your shadow to bring stuff forward, but also be ready to cut stuff out if it is no longer serving. Because you have a great opportunity to succeed in the moment, but you also have an opportunity to take that as your new platform and launch yourself into a higher frequency state. So, water, you have a lot of positivity going in this. There's a little bit of a challenge, but that's kind of how life goes. But it's really saying you're seeking the balance. The outcome is going to be beneficial for you. There are some things that need to be checked on, maybe even taken out of the equation, because it's no longer beneficial to have those. There's an underlying theme here, bottom of the deck card, is Page of Swords. Be ready to step up if you need to. But at this point, with the way everything's laid out here, water, you don't need to worry about the battles anymore. Even the butterfly is sitting on top of a cleaned sword, meaning a lot of the fights that you've been dealing with are actually over. And this is where you start taking the steps to claim the things that you have worked towards. You can claim the things that you've put the time and effort into. Because your overall outcome is claiming where you're at, accepting the rewards offered, being ready to step into the next level. And that's what that Page of Swords energy is also saying, is you've fought some stuff in the past. It's no longer necessary to be involved in that level. Be ready for what's coming, because there could be something else, but don't focus on it. That's no longer your drive. That's no longer your need. You're stepping out of the daily battle type thing, daily grind, if you will. So with that, we'll hop over to some Oracle. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, and comment down below. And like I said, if you guys have different intuitive bursts that come from looking at some of these cards, feel free to drop that in the comment section. It's always fun to hear what other people see when we're looking at cards. It happens a little bit more with in-person private readings, but it does happen in any reading, really, because you'll be looking at a card and be like, I'm not getting that exact energy, but what I'm feeling is this. Great. How does that apply? How does it apply to your life? Because a lot of this stuff, that's how you have to read it. So with that, we will hop into the Oracle, and I pull 3 Oracle cards. We go through each one. It can be a little bit more detail, filling in some blanks about the reading, or it could be something answering a question that you have. And if you are looking to ask questions, just push pause before we start the next card. That way you can ask your question and see if the universe brings the answer through. So your first card is number 41, energy. Before I even can say anything else, Leo is what comes forward with this. There is this energy of taking charge, of stepping into authority, and it's fire energy, which is not generally comfortable to water, but there are times where fire actually is needed because water can get a little too chilly, where the fire can bring things up. And this is really saying there's this energy that's coming in for you right now, water, that is stimulating this. I can do this. I can step into my authority. I can step into my power. And it doesn't have to be aggressive, but it's something that you're needing to take care of and you need to step into, is the energy I keep getting here. So when we look at number 41 with energy, it's saying there is a lot of yeses coming through. There is a lot of taking those next steps, and notice your lion flies, meaning you're not tied down to where you were. You're being offered something that is going to change the path of your life for the better if you're willing to take the steps. And that's what they're saying, and it may be completely something benign to somebody else, like changing your life for the better, moving into that new house, new apartment, new whatever it is, changing your life for the better, taking that job. It doesn't have to be drastic, like I'm gonna sell my entire everything and move across the world. It doesn't have to be that, because that is life-changing, but in a whole different world. Can be something simple, but it changes your life, and that's what they're saying, is you're being offered some opportunities. Are you willing to take those next steps? So your second card is number 36 with tears. If you're feeling emotionally wound up, if you're feeling emotionally constricted of any form, this card is really saying it's okay to let the emotions out. Unravel them. Ugly cry into a pillow. Get that stuff out of your system. Because once you do, you're allowed, it gives you this clarity. And anyone who's had those times where you've broken down and you just can't help yourself, like your body's screaming, you're going to cry this out one way or another. And afterwards, there's this weird calm. You're still upset. Nothing's fully settled down, but you've popped the cork on all that pressure and you feel better. You feel relaxed. You have a clarity of mind. Sometimes it's just a straight up quiet. There's no noise whatsoever, which is amazing. But what it's saying is allow those tears to flow out. Allow those emotions to be freed so that you can actually see more clearly. This is the image. This is your vision. If you don't let these out so that you can basically clear the path, you're going to be blocking your own vision because of some stuck emotions. So allow those things to move out. This card is really a card of taking care of yourself in the purest way possible so that you can actually expand in the spiritual journey or the physical journey that you are actually working towards. There always comes a point where you have to kind of decompress, and that's what this card is reminding you to do. So your third card is number 37 with stability, which actually has very strong temperance vibes as well. Water, this is a great time for you to do some resets. Readjust some things, bring yourself back into a balance and alignment, but you're not going to be in the same spot when you do this. You have changed a lot in the last few months, and so what this is saying is you're rebalancing yourself at this new higher level. You have climbed a precipice, and now you're stepping onto a new plateau. And where you are now is reset. Figure out where you're at, where have you come from, where are you going to go, but where is your new platform? Where is your new plateau? And this is what they're saying, is find that stability, and from there you can launch yourself even higher. Finding your balance between the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark, the sun and the moon, if you look at the card here. Find your balance, and that also ties into the interesting placements of fire through this. Your fire is your contrary energy, but that's the energy they're asking you to draw out of the shadow because it's necessary for the growth that is being offered. The earth is setting you up for the new stability, your new foundation. But how you're going to achieve that is through the drive from fire. Scorpios, you already know this. You are the fire of water, so you're like, well, no kidding. That's how you deal things. But Cancer and Pisces, you're a little more gentle on that respect, so don't be afraid of the fire side. Bring that in if it's something that you can use going forward. So with that, I will let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your month. These are general readings, so take what works, leave the rest, and I will see you in the next video.